As we gear up for the highly anticipated release of the Dallas Cowboys 2026 schedule next week, there are several burning questions that have fans on the edge of their seats. The NFL has officially set May 14th as the date for unveiling the full slate, but let's dive into what we really need to know about the Cowboys' upcoming journey, particularly with a spotlight on their unique matchup in Rio de Janeiro against the Baltimore Ravens. First and foremost, the international game in Brazil presents a real conundrum for the Cowboys. This isn't just another game, it's a challenge that no NFL team has faced before. Typically, teams that venture abroad are afforded a bye week the following week to recuperate. However, Brazil has thrown a curveball into the equation. In recent years, teams that played in Brazil on a Friday had to turn around and compete the very next week. Some played on the subsequent Sunday, while others were slotted for Monday Night Football. Now, the Cowboys and Ravens find themselves in an unusual position, playing in Rio on a Sunday in Week 3. This setup is precarious. One team will have a full week of preparation, while the other faces a grueling turnaround. Unless the league deviates from its recent norms, which seems unlikely, bye weeks won't begin until Week 5. That leaves the Cowboys facing a challenging stretch from Week 2 to Week 4. The logistics are tough to ignore. A direct flight from Dallas to Rio takes around 12 hours. Let's be real, that's a full day dedicated to travel, and it's going to impact their performance. The Cowboys are used to pressure, but this is a different kind of strain. Now, let's pivot to the speculation surrounding the Cowboys' potential placement in one of the league's kickoff games. The NFL is not likely to allow Dallas to be the visiting team for back-to-back kickoff games. But let's think critically here. There's no explicit rule prohibiting it. The Cowboys hold a unique distinction of being the only team to have 3 away appearances in the kickoff game since 2002, and they've already been featured in the opening game twice in the last 3 years, including last year's showdown against the Philadelphia Eagles. With a kickoff scheduled for a Wednesday night this season, the NFL is likely looking for the most compelling matchup to draw viewers. With the Cowboys' star power and extensive fan base, they are undoubtedly a top candidate to fill that role. It's not just about tradition. It's about ratings, and the Cowboys have historically been a ratings juggernaut. Lastly, let's address the issue of holiday games. Last year, the Cowboys faced 2 short weeks within a 6-game stretch, courtesy of their Thanksgiving and Christmas matchups. Playing on December 25th is a monumental challenge, and it's one that could put the Cowboys at a disadvantage once again. However, the NFL has embraced holiday games in recent years, and it wouldn't be shocking to see the Cowboys featured in another primetime slot during the holidays because, let's face it, they are a fan favorite for a reason. As we await the full schedule reveal, the anticipation is palpable. Where are you watching from, Cowboys fans? What are your thoughts on the upcoming schedule and these potential hurdles? Let's keep the conversation going as we transition into our next segment, where we'll explore another key development that could shape the Cowboys' future this season. The buzz around the Dallas Cowboys is electric, especially with new safety Caleb Downs making waves since the 2026 NFL Draft. Speculation is swirling about how he will fit into the team's defensive scheme, and fans are eager to see if this football savant can elevate America's team to new heights. Where are you watching from? Leave your thoughts in the comments about what you think Caleb Downs will bring to the Cowboys. Caleb Downs is not just another player. He's a phenomenon. A player whose talent and intellect on the field have caught the eye of many, including the Cowboys' own Will McClay. McClay labeled him a football savant, a term that carries weight in the NFL, suggesting that Downs has an innate understanding of the game. He understands concepts, McClay stated, emphasizing how he comprehends the intricacies of the Cowboys' defensive schemes. This level of understanding is crucial, especially in a league where split-second decisions can mean the difference between victory and defeat. His father, Gary Downs, recognized Caleb's exceptional abilities at a remarkably young age. On the DLS Cowboys podcast, he recounted a story that encapsulates Caleb's uniqueness. When he was just 2 years old, a coworker visited their home and growled at young Caleb. Instead of retreating in fear, the toddler growled right back, a small but telling sign of the competitive spirit that would later define his career. But the stories don't stop there. Gary shared an amusing but telling anecdote about Caleb showing off one-armed push-ups at the tender age of 4, a feat he reserved for the girls at daycare. He was in a daycare, and I went to pick him up, and the lady said, "Your son is doing one-armed push-ups, but he'll only do them for the girls," Gary recalled. This playful yet determined attitude reflects the competitive edge that has been evident in Caleb's life from the very beginning. Then came the statistics that would make any parent proud. At 6 years old, in his first year of playing football, Caleb scored a staggering 46 touchdowns, leading his team to a championship victory. In that championship game, 7 touchdowns, 300 yards rushing, Gary shared. It's astounding to think that a 6-year-old could dominate in such a way, but for those who followed Caleb's journey, it's just further evidence of the extraordinary player he has become. Gary remembers how his son's skill set was unmatched for a player so young. "I had never seen nobody play like that. Not a young kid, just his skill level, his poise, his confidence, even a leader," he said. This last point is critical. Leadership is often what separates good players from great ones, and it appears Caleb had that quality even as a child. The idea that a 6-year-old could command respect and lead his peers on the field speaks volumes about his character and potential. As we analyze Caleb Downs' journey, it's clear that he's not just an athlete. He's a player who has been molded for greatness. His extraordinary early achievements could very well translate into immediate contributions for the Cowboys. With his combination of skill, intelligence, and leadership, he has the potential to be a game-changer for this franchise. As we look ahead, fans can only speculate how quickly he'll adapt to the professional level and what impact he'll have on the Cowboys' defense. The anticipation is building, and as Dallas moves into the new season, all eyes will be on Caleb Downs to see if he can live up to the high expectations set for him. Stay tuned for our next segment, where we'll dive deeper into the Cowboys' strategy and how new talent like Downs will fit into the team's overall game plan. As we dive deeper into the latest analysis surrounding the Dallas Cowboys, let's talk about the swirling rumors and speculations regarding their roster. The chatter around George Pickens potentially sticking with the Cowboys is intriguing, and it's hard to ignore the stark reality of the Athletic's NFL post-draft roster rankings. So, where are you watching from? Let us know your thoughts on how the Cowboys stack up against the competition. Now, let's dissect these rankings. At the top, we see the Rams taking the crown, followed by the Seahawks and Bills, which is somewhat expected. But then, The Athletic dives off the deep end as it places the Chiefs at number 4, followed by the Chargers, Broncos, Eagles, Ravens, Packers, Jaguars, 49ers, Patriots, and Lions. And yet, shockingly absent from this list are the Cowboys. The explanation for this seemingly ludicrous ranking boils down to a focus on the offense and defense. Austin Mock from The Athletic noted that the Cowboys have a solid foundation at quarterback and wide receiver, and they should have a competitive offensive line. The duo of CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens is touted as possibly the best 1-2 punch in the league. However, the defense is where doubts arise. Mock argues that the Cowboys are in dire need of help at edge rusher, relying heavily on second-year player Donovan Ezeuruaku and rookie Malachi Lawrence. But let's take a moment to evaluate the bigger picture for the Cowboys. We can't overemphasize Williams' 7-game stint with the team in 2025. With a new defensive coordinator at the helm, Williams is fully immersed in the culture of Jerry's world. He's not just any player. He's a 4-time Pro Bowler who is poised to make a significant impact in the 2026 season. His ability to dominate both run defense and the pass rush is critical, and his track record speaks volumes. Earning accolades while playing for 2 different teams last season only underscores his capacity to perform. Pairing Williams with Kenny Clark for a full season could elevate the Cowboys' run defense into the top 10, a significant jump from last year's dismal ranking of number 22. And let's not overlook linebacker DeMarvion Overshown. If he can stay healthy, his impact will be transformative. It's crucial to evaluate the roster as it stands without factoring in injury history unless a player is clearly out for the season. As it stands, Overshown is expected to be ready, and that's a positive sign. Cornerback Siobhan Revel Jr. is another piece in this puzzle. His potential should be assessed based on his capabilities and expected health for the season. While Mock emphasizes the need for edge rusher reinforcement, I see a flaw in that argument. If Rashawn Gary returns to form, the Cowboys can expect adequate pressure from that side. Despite a dip in performance late last season, Gary has consistently recorded at least 7.5 sacks in 4 of the last 5 seasons. On the opposite edge, Ezeuruaku and Lawrence may not need to each hit double digits in sacks. A combined total of 12 to 14 sacks would suffice, positioning the Cowboys to compete effectively. The truth is simple. If the Cowboys can apply pressure on opposing quarterbacks, their defensive backfield will make life exceedingly difficult for rival offenses. A pivotal factor in this equation is Caleb Downs. His addition is a game-changer for the Dallas defense. Considered an immediate impact player, Downs possesses a unique ability to read the field, play smartly, and disrupt plays across the board. His blend of intelligence, urgency, and toughness will enable him to shine as a starter early in his career. Last season, the Cowboys were just a few yards behind the Rams in total yards allowed per game. With minor adjustments, they could easily surpass that benchmark in 2026. The offense, which likely will score around 28 points per game, doesn't need substantial reinforcements from the draft. The current roster is that formidable. Ultimately, we see the Cowboys on the brink of reclaiming their place among the NFL elite. The defense is shaping up to complement an already explosive offense, and if they can harness their potential, this team could be poised for a significant turnaround. As we wrap up this segment, let's engage with you, the fans. What are your thoughts on the Cowboys roster and their chances this coming season? Where are you watching from? Don't forget to leave your opinion in the comments and subscribe for more in-depth analysis on the Dallas Cowboys and the NFL at large.